we might as well just hit the ground running. Here we are, welcome back. Stormtrooper to be built. We need to really get this finished because we've got other tutorials that we want to do, and I'd like to just get this done. So with that in mind, let's get cracking on. So where are we at? We've got cover strips that we need. We've got to stitch this together and then trim out some little bits and pieces. So it's pretty simple, really. I'm liking what we've got so far. I think we can get this knocked into shape in not a great deal of time at all. So let's crack on. Let's talk more work. Sheet of ABS. I'm going to use this to make cover strips. So one of these should come in your box. Might be a different shape than this, but it's going to do the same thing. It's going to be big enough. When you do get your sheet of plastic in there, just bear in mind that the thighs, the front of the thighs, these are the longest pieces you're going to need. The backs are not too long, the front is the longest piece. So just make sure you're getting that out of your plastic before you start chopping it up. I'm going to chop it up. I've got an absolute shit ton of this stuff knocking around, so it doesn't really matter what I do. So here we go, I'm going to get this. Pardon me, I do have a bit of a cold. It's what happens at Christmas when you have a bit of time off. So I'm going to cut this at 20 millimeters. Then I'm going to have a little bit of a look, because what I've just told you, there you go, look at that, it's too short. Oh my God. And yet it fits the back. So we may have to trim this the other way, or no, it's going to be too short, so I'm going to have to get another piece of this. But let's continue. I'll get the backs done, and yeah, I'm definitely going to need another piece of plastic because they're too small for the shins. Now, don't beat yourself up over this. We're aiming for 20 mil. The original suits were all over the place. There was some 20 mil one end, 24 mil the other end. They weren't as precise as you would think if you're looking at a 501st CRL, for example. So it's down to you what you want to do. 20 mil is kind of the desired. If they're not 100% 20 mil all up top to bottom, don't really worry too much about it. I'm just going to cut that. You're going to have your own preferences when you're building this. So if you're aiming, I would recommend aim for 20 mil and you're good. So let's just give this a little cut so you can see that again. Then we'll move on. So here we go. I'm going to score down the line. So I've literally just scored that. Not going in very deep at all. And then I'm just going to bend the plastic. And it's just running it along. There we go. Right, I need to get a little bit more of this, and I need to turn that off. Back momentarily. You should have a piece like this in your kit, about 17.5 inches square, something like that. Long enough to get your big thigh. This is the longest piece that we're going to need, easily cover it. Just bear that in mind, because if you start cutting down one end, you might end up with it too short to make the full cover strip if you cut off that side and then off this side. So what I would say is, before you cut on your cover strips, before you start chopping up your cover strips, I would do the two thighs first, and then you're not going to have a problem. The back of the thigh is not as big, it's the front that we really need to focus on, deal with and get right. So here we go. I'm just using normal Stanley knife, scoring the plastic. Bending the plastic on that score line. run it down the whole length of the piece. Nice satisfying break sound. There we go. 20mm cover strip. That's the ideal. That's what we want to really be wanting to add to this. Now, don't beat yourself up if you end up being a little bit bigger or they're not quite square. The original suits are pretty much all over the place, but if you're going for a CRL kind of a standard, that's really where you want to be. If you're going for a screen accurate look, then you can afford to be a little sloppier. It's all down to your own personal build, how you want to do it. But what I would say is, from looking at the original suit, 20mm is where they wanted to be, not necessarily where they all were. Right, I've chopped down my front, which is the one I'm most concerned about. I've already cut out some of the backs of the thighs. Let's do the shins next. So again, we're doing 20mm. The thighs are 20mm front, 20mm back. The shins are 20mm front, 25mm for the rear. There we go, we've got enough length there. Perfecto. That is, let me just have a quick look at that. Yeah, it was just over 15 inches long. I thought I'd cut it a bit longer than that actually. Have I turned that while I've been doing it? See, that's what you don't want to do. Now it's up to you whether you just cut enough cover strips for the pieces you're working on or whether you cut the lot up beforehand. It's totally up to you. I think I'm just going to get them all prepared so that they're there ready. And I don't have to clear a space in my cluttered workspace again. Rears now, as we said, 25mm for the rear. This is just to give it a little bit extra on that closure because we're not going to seal it up. So I'm not putting a lot of pressure on here, and the pressure that there is downward, just to try and encourage the rule not to slip. And I'm not going to split this one off, just to show you that little trick again to get the second one. But again, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on, just enough to score the surface. And I'll just go again now because we've not put much pressure on. There, simple as that. So I've got 2 fronts, 2 rears for the shins when we get to those. Done. I've got 2 fronts and 2 rears for the thighs when we get to those. That's a spare one I cut and we don't need to think about. And I've already cut some for the biceps and forearms. These are about 12mm, give or take. Now that's what I'm putting on these. If for any reason you need to make them a little bit bigger to encompass a bigger limb, then that's fine as well. If you are doing that, I would try and stick close to 20 on the front and make it maybe a bit bigger around the back because it's going to have less impact on your overall look. Yeah, that's about it. There you go, simple as that. This is how we build stuff. So if you need a kit, you can get on the website.
If, however, you've seen this and you think, this is not for me and I don't have the time, don't worry. We also have fully built commissions and fully built stuff. Or again, all on the website. Just click through, choose your character, it's all there for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.